Now let's take another walk through the code and see how our Watson News app integrates with the Discovery service. In order to do that, we need to do some setup. First, we need to get access to the Watson Discovery API. Since we are a Node.js app, we will include the Watson API Node.js SDK in our package.json. The name of the package is IBM Watson. Next, we need to authenticate the API, and for help on this, we can point to the official documentation, which is at cloud.ibm.com/API-docs/discovery. We can click on Authentication and select the Node option, and it shows us some code examples. So as we mentioned in the code walkthrough video, we have a module inside the server directory named Watson Discovery Service.js. And just like in the example from the API docs, we do a require on IBM-Watson/discovery/v1, then authenticate using this version date. And according to the documentation, we also need a host URL and an IAM API key. Since we don't include them here, the SDK will check our .env file for these values, and that's the option that we're going to use. It's important to know that the key names must match exactly to work, so they need to be discovery_IAM_API key and discovery_URL. Once we have access to the service, we can use any of the API calls listed in the documentation. For our Watson News app, we just use two API calls. One is to list environments, and the other is to query our collection. Whenever you make a call, you do need to include the environment ID of your discovery service and the ID of the collection within that environment. And as you can see here, we set those values within this module, so we only have to set them once. If we go to the index.js file in the server directory, you can see where the service is created and the IDs are assigned. The call here to list environments is done simply as a sanity check, so to make sure that all of our keys and IDs are correct. Now we can look at the other API call we make, which is the discovery query. As you can see in the docs, there are a lot of parameters and options to this call. And for our app, it's all contained within the Query Builder module, located in the server directory. Here's where we build the parameter list that we will pass with our query. For user-defined searches, we set a count limit, indicate what fields we want returned, and request an aggregation on sentiment values. For trending searches, we only want the entity value returned, and we request an aggregation that looks for the most occurrences of an entity value and returns the top 20 found. Once the parameters are set, we can make our query call, which we do in the server index.js file. And here it is done for the trending page, and here for the search page. The results are returned in JSON format and rendered in a React.js component. So that covers the Discovery API discussion for this news app, but if you continue on in this Discovery Learning series, we will be building more complicated apps that use more of the available Discovery APIs. For example, we will show how to create and populate collections on the fly.